Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiv narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udire nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevayam bhagavati uttam shloke bhaktir bhavati nashtaki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 17, Maharaj Prithu becomes angry at the earth. Text number 26 onwards. So we were studying yesterday how Mother Earth took the form of a cow, and because she was not producing grain and Maharaj Prithu was ready to kill her, so she took the form of a cow and ran all over the universe, followed by Maharaj Prithu. So finally, she surrendered unto Maharaj Prithu and took shelter of his lotus feet, and she said, "How can you kill me? I'm a woman, I'm a cow, and I'm surrendered." But Maharaj Prithu is giving his logic how and why he should kill her. Text 26. Puman yoshid utkliva atma sambhavano adhamah bhuteshu nir anukrosho nripanam tad padho avadha. Any cruel person, may be a man, woman, or impotent eunuch, who is only interested in his personal maintenance and has no compassion for other living entities, may be killed by the king. Such killing can never be considered actual killing. The planet Earth is actually a woman in a constitutional form, and as such, she needs to be protected by the king. Maharaj Prithu argues, however, that if a citizen within the state, be he a man, woman, or eunuch, is not compassionate upon his fellow men, he or she may be killed by the king, and such killing is never to be considered actual killing. Because Mother Earth, according to Maharaj Prithu, was not compassionate for other living entities because they needed her products for their maintenance. And she's the only one who could do that. And she's not doing that. So Maharaj Prithu said, I'm going to kill you. And that killing is never considered actual killing. Now, Prabhupada, let's see what Prabhupada further says. As far as the field of spiritual activities is concerned, when a devotee is self-satisfied and does not preach the glories of Krishna, he is not considered a first-class devotee. A devotee who tries to preach, who has compassion upon innocent persons, who have no knowledge of Krishna, is a superior devotee. In his prayer to the Lord, Prahlad Maharaj said he was not personally interested in liberation from this material world. Rather, he did not wish to be liberated from this material condition until all fallen souls were delivered. So even in the material field, if a person is not interested in others' welfare, he should be considered to be condemned by the personality of Godhead or his incarnation, like Prithu Maharaj. So being a devotee, or Prabhupada says, one who does not preach is not considered a first-class devotee. Means one who preaches is a first-class devotee. Whether his own realizations are not up to that level, but in eyes of Krishna, in eyes of Prabhupada, he is considered a first-class devotee who's preaching. And as I said so many times, preaching is not just giving big lectures. It could be in any way we introduce others to Krishna consciousness, introduce others to how to revive the relationship, the lost relationship with Krishna, that is preaching. So this is what a devotee has to do. He cannot be just self-satisfied and does not preach. He has to preach. And it really brings real satisfaction to the heart when we try to help somebody make progress in Krishna consciousness. It really gives satisfaction. And just imagine how pleased Prabhupada is and how pleased Krishna is when he sees us making progress towards preaching. Text 27. Tvam stabdham durmadam nitva maya gam tilashah sharai atma yoga bale nema dharishyami aham praja. You are very much puffed up with your pride and have become almost insane. Presently you have assumed the form of a cow by your mystic powers. Nonetheless, I shall cut you into small pieces like grain, and I will uphold the entire population by my personal mystic powers. So Mother Earth had an argument that if you kill me, then the earth will go down in the Garbhodak Sagar. Then how's everybody going to be maintained? And Maharaj Prithu said, you are becoming very puffed up with the pride that you are the one who's holding up everything. I will uphold the entire population by my personal mystic powers. So shall kill you. I shall cut you into small pieces like grain. That's the power of Parikshit, power of Prithu Maharaj. The earth informed King Prithvi that if he destroyed her, he and his subjects would all fall down into the waters of the Garbha ocean. King Prithu now replies to that point. Although the earth assumed the shape of a cow by her mystic powers, in order to be saved from being killed by the king was aware of this fact and would not hesitate to cut her to pieces just like small bits of grain. As far as the destruction of the citizens is concerned, Maharaj Prithu maintained that he could uphold everyone by his own mystic powers. He did not need the help of the earthly planet. Being the incarnation of Lord Vishnu, Maharaj Prithu possessed the power of Sankarshan, which is explained by the scientists as a power of gravitation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is holding millions of planets in space without any support. Similarly, Prithu Maharaj would not have had any difficulty supporting all his citizens and himself in space without the help of the planet Earth. The Lord is known as Yogeshwara, master of all mystic powers. Consequently, the planet Earth was informed by the king that she need not worry about his standing without her help. So that is the power of Maharaj Prithu. He is Shaktivesh Avatar of Krishna himself. So it's quite possible for him to uphold this planet Earth without the Mother Earth inside. He can easily do that. And Prabhupada explains, just like the Supreme Personality of Godhead is holding millions of planets in space without any support. What's so difficult for him? He's floating all these millions of planets, and all the planets are moving in their orbit and rotating at their own axis at the same speed, and a great speed for millions and millions of billions of years. And there is no crash. No planets are crashing into each other. That's a real traffic policy. Evam manyu mai murtim kritantam me vibhritam pranata pranjali praha mahi sanjata vepathu. At this time, Prithu Maharaj became exactly like Yamraj, and his whole body appeared very angry. In other words, he was anger personified. After hearing him, the planet Earth began to tremble. She surrendered, and with folded hands began to speak as follows. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is death personified to miscreants, and the Supreme Beloved Lord to the devotees. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Mrityu sarvharash chaham. I'm all-devouring death. Faithless unbelievers who challenge the appearance of God will be delivered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead when he appears before them as death. Hiranyakashipu, for example, challenged the authority of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the Lord met him in the form of Nrsimhadev and killed him. Similarly, the planet Earth saw Maharaj Prithu as death personified, and she also saw him in the mood of anger personified. Therefore, she began to tremble. One cannot challenge the authority of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in any circumstance. It is better to surrender unto Him and take His protection at all times. So, about Him being death personified. So there are many atheist unbelievers who challenge God, who try to challenge God. There was one atheist in Britain, and in Britain there's a square, Trafalgar Square, where anybody can go and say any nonsense, whatever he wants, and some crowd will gather around, they will laugh, and then they leave. So there was one atheist. He went there and he was yelling and that there is no God. If God is there, why doesn't He strike me right now with lightning and kill me? See, and after 10 minutes, no lightning happened. Nobody. He wasn't struck dead. So he said, "See, there is no God. I'm claiming there is no God. If God is there, if He's so powerful, why doesn't He strike me dead right now?" But Krishna, or even Yamraj, for that matter, he's not our order carrier that whenever we want, he will appear and show and kill us. Ultimately, he died. That person died. The death, Krishna came to him as death anyway. But it's not that whenever he wants, Krishna is going to appear. He has his own plan. He has his own way of working. Your Yamraj has his own way of working. So we have to learn it through the scriptures. That's all. But the faithless, atheistic people, they just still not believe. And ultimately they're going to be dead. They're going to get old, they're going to get disease, and they're going to die. That is for sure. So similarly, planet Earth is seeing Maharaj Prithu as death personified. So far, maybe she did not realize his position, and maybe she wanted to make everybody know his position. That's why she acted the way she did. And now she began to tremble and she spoke to him as follows. Dharo vacha namaha parasmai purushaya mayaya venyastan anatanve gunatmane namah swarupanum bhavena nirdhut dravya kriya karaka vibramor maye. The planet Earth spoke, "My dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, you are transcendental in your position, and by your material energy you have expanded yourself in various forms and species of life through the interaction of the three modes of material nature. Unlike some other masters, you always remain in your transcendental position and not affected by material creation, which is subject to different material interactions. Consequently, you are not bewildered by material activities." After King Prithu gave his royal command, the planet Earth in the shape of cow could understand that the king was a directly empowered incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So not an ordinary person. Consequently, the king knew everything, past, present, and future. There was no possibility of the earth cheating him. The earth was accused of hiding the seeds of all herbs and grains, and therefore she is preparing to explain how the seeds of these herbs and grains can be again exposed. The earth knew that the king was very angry with her, and she realized that unless she pacified his anger, there was no possibility of placing a positive program before him. Therefore, in the beginning of her speech, she very humbly presents herself as a part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's body. So King Prithu was so angry at earth, the earth began to tremble, and she humbly folded her hands and she started speaking. She had to pacify him or placate him first. So very humbly she reminded him that she is part and parcel of universal body of Supreme Personality of Godhead. She submits that the various bodily forms manifest in the physical world are but different parts and parcels of the supreme gigantic body. It is said that the lower planetary systems are part and parcels of the legs of the Lord, whereas the upper planetary systems are part and parcels of the Lord's head. The Lord creates this material world by his external energy. But this external energy is in one sense non-different from him. Yet at the same time, the Lord is not directly manifest in the external energy, but is always situated in the spiritual energy. So the universal form, as we studied earlier, that Krishna showed to Arjuna, and in Bhagavatam also, Brahmaji was explained about the universal form. It is temporary, it is made of material elements, and it's not the real form. But this is just for the neophytes to understand how everything is contained in Krishna. But this material, the universal form, is material form. It's made of material energy. And Krishna actually, he does not, or the Lord Vishnu also, he doesn't come in contact with the material energy. It's his energy, but he doesn't come in contact with him. He's always situated in the spiritual energy. So material nature is working under the direction of the Lord. Therefore, the Lord is not unattached to the external energy, and he is addressed in this verse as Guna Atma. Attached in the sense, it's his energy, but he's not connected, or he doesn't come in contact with it. Although the Lord is not attached to the external energy, he is nonetheless the master of it. The philosophy of Lord Chaitanya, upholding that the Lord is simultaneously one with and different from his creation, is Achintya Bheda Bhed Tattva, is very easily understandable in this connection. The planet Earth explains that although the Lord is attached to external energy, he is nirdhuta. He is completely free from the activities of external energy. The Lord is always situated in his internal energy. Therefore, in this verse it is stated, Swarup Anubhavena. The Lord remains completely in his internal potency and yet has full knowledge of the external energy as well as the internal energy. Just as his devotee remains always in a transcendental position. So the devotee remains always in a transcendental position. How? By keeping himself in the service of the Lord without becoming attached to the material body. So this is the position of a devotee. He remains transcendental, in a transcendental position by always remaining in the service of the Lord, without being attached to the external potency. So means, as soon as, like once one devotee told Prabhupada, I'm always in Krishna consciousness, but sometimes I come under Maya. Prabhupada said, you are always under Maya. Sometimes you come into Krishna consciousness, actually. So this is our position. We are not always in the service of the Lord. We are struggling, we are trying. So whenever we are in the service of the Lord, we are in the transcendental position. Idea is to remain in that position always. But our tendency, being a Tatastha Shakti, we can go here or there, and we keep on moving. As a devotee, at least, we keep on moving between the two. The idea is try to remain as much as possible in the internal potency by our services. There should be no difficulty in understanding this situation. Just as a devotee is never bewildered by his material body, the Lord is never bewildered by the external energy of this material world. A devotee is not hampered by the material body. Although he is situated in a physical body, that runs according to so many material conditions, just as there are 5 kinds of air functioning within the body and so many organs, the hands, legs, tongue, genitals, rectum, etc., all working differently. The spirit soul, the living entity, who is in full knowledge of his position, is always engaged in chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and is not concerned with the bodily functions. Although the Lord is connected with the material world, he is always situated in his spiritual energy and is always unattached to the functions of the material world. As far as the material body is concerned, there are 6 waves, or symptomatic material conditions: hunger, thirst, lamentation, bewilderment, old age, and death. The liberated soul is never concerned with these 6 physical interactions: hunger, thirst, lamentation, bewilderment, old age, and disease. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, being the all-powerful master of all energies, has some connection with the external energy, but is always free from the interactions of the external energy in the material world. So Prabhupada explains nicely how we can remain in the spiritual energy by always serving and not worried about the material body, because this material body is our connection with the material world. Just like Srila Prabhupada himself showed by his example. If you see his Antir Leela, when he was going to leave his body and he was in Vrindavan, he had given up eating, drinking, anything. For 3 months he didn't eat anything. Only some Charnamrit every day. That's it. Basically his whole body fat was gone. The skin was directly in touch with the bones. And the Kaviraj, or the doctors who came there, they said this is very painful condition, because the fat between the skin and the bones, it actually protects the muscles and the nerves and the tendons or whatever is there, and it keeps it from hurting or paining. But when there is no fat left and the skin touches the bones and the muscles and the tendons, and any little touch on the skin or any little rubbing on the skin by somebody's hand or by the cloth somebody's wearing or by anything that touches, it's going to create lots of pain. But Prabhupada was definitely, really beyond that. Even in that condition, he was preaching, he was translating Srimad Bhagavatam, he was giving instructions to his disciples, he was doing so many things, even in that condition. So that's how he showed how transcendental he was. And many devotees later on explained, actually that was very important for us, because we saw how Prabhupada lived, we saw how Prabhupada preached, how he moved around, how he translated books, how he dealt with devotees, how he taught us how to do everything, but he hadn't had a chance to show us how one should die. So by his example, by his showing us how one should leave the body, or how one should prepare to leave the body, they said this was the ultimate lesson for all of us. Prabhupada is an acharya, and he showed everything by his example. So Mother Earth further says, Yenaham atma maya tanam vinirmita dhatra yatoyam guna sarga sangraha saeva mam hantum udayudha swaraj Upastito anyam sharanam kamashray. The planet Earth continued, My dear Lord, you are the complete conductor of the material creation. You have created this cosmic manifestation and the three material qualities. And therefore you have created me, the planet Earth, the resting place of all living entities. Yet you are always fully independent. My Lord, now that you are present before me and ready to kill me with your weapons, let me know where shall I go to take shelter, and tell me who can give me protection. The planet Earth herein exhibits the symptoms of full surrender before the Lord. As stated, no one can protect the person whom Krishna is prepared to kill, and no one can kill the person whom Krishna protects. Yare Krishna mare ke, mare Krishna rakhe ke. Because the Lord was prepared to kill the planet Earth, there was no one to give protection to her. We are all receiving protection from the Lord, and it is therefore proper that every one of us surrender unto Him. And this is what Krishna says, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, in fact tomorrow or in India today, is the appearance day of appearance or disappearance day of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And this somehow Prabhupada's quotation comes. Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, My dear Lord, whatever I have, even my mind, the center of all material necessities, namely my home, my body, and whatever I have in connection with this body, I now surrender unto you. You are now completely independent to act however you like. If you like, you can kill me, and if you like, you can save me. In any case, I'm your eternal servant, and you have every right to do whatever you like. It's a beautiful bhajan. Manas deho geho jo kichu more, arpilun tu apade nanda kishore. So everything that I have is basically, it's yours. Whatever I have is in connection with this body. I'm going to surrender unto you. Now it's up to you, whatever you want to do. Whether you want to keep me, whether you want to kill me, save me, whatever. I'm your eternal servant. You do whatever you like. And that is surrender. That is Sharanagati. So it's not that Krishna enjoys seeing us in that position, or he is like a vicious king who sees everybody surrenders unto him. It's not like that. It's by us surrendering everything unto him, and by us taking shelter of him, it proves that we don't want to take shelter of Maya. We have nothing to do with Maya. And when we surrender unto him, then means when we are eligible, getting prepared, qualified to go back to the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, nobody talks to him like this. I'm surrendering unto you, and you can do whatever you like. Sometimes, maybe, Radharani does. But in the spiritual world, in Golok Vrindavan, nobody even considers him God. They just love him. So from third canto, how Kardam Muni was the dealings of Mother Devhuti with Kapil Dev, and then fourth canto, Dhruv Maharaj Prithu, and other devotees. Now further, when we go make progress in the cantos, the surrender of the devotees and the relationship with the Lord, it becomes different slowly. And then comes the 10th canto, where Krishna's pastimes are revealed, and devotees' pastimes along with Krishna, that is revealed. That is totally different. Their mode is totally different from the mood here of Mother Earth with Prithu Maharaj. But everything goes in a gradual progress. And then when we read Chaitanya Charitamrita, their mood is completely different with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's the beauty of Bhagavatam. It takes us, gradually takes us up, and up and up and up. Of course, every devotee is glorious. Dhruv Maharaj, glorious, very wonderful. Mahaprabhu used to read his pastimes, Dhruv Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj's pastimes, every day. But the mood of Dhruv Maharaj with the Lord, mood of Prahlad Maharaj with the Lord, of course, it is complete in itself. But the mood of Sakhas, Gop Sakhas with Krishna, is completely different. Totally different. And that's where Bhagavatam will take us slowly to that mood. So anyway, Mother Earth is praying to Maharaj Prithu, and she will tell him how exactly he can extract the seeds and the herbs she is withholding for the proper maintenance of the public. So that we'll study tomorrow. So any questions or comments?
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mata.
Very nice to hear from you. Actually, it is always, so nice to hear from you. The way you explain everything with so much of feeling that like the visualization also becomes more vivid. So thank you so much.
I try. Any other question or comment? Okay, so I guess we can stop here. You all have a wonderful and safe day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Thank you.